In this video, we're going to review Pepperstone. We're going to tell you who they are, what they do, who they do it for, what we like about them, and also what we dislike about them. Stay tuned. Right, thank you for watching this Good Money Guide review of Pepperstone. My name is Richard Berry. I'm going to be taking you through who Pepperstone are. We're going to go through who runs the company, what products they offer, what platforms they offer, and what, if anything, makes them stand out within the world of online brokering. Before we continue though, if you could like, comment and subscribe. We are doing this for YouTube to be more engaging, so if you have any questions or thoughts, you can either write them in the comments below or come to the Good Money Guide website, fill in our survey and tell us what you think of Pepperstone. Now, Pepperstone, founded in 2010 in Australia by two young entrepreneurs, Owen Kerr and Joe Davenport. Since then, they've been brought out by private equity and most recently bought by senior management. If you're interested in who is now running the business, we did interview the CEO a few years ago. You can look at the Pepperstone review page, and on there we go through, where Pepperstone is now as a business. We pontificate about what we think of Pepperstone, what we like about them, what we dislike about them, and where they sit within the industry. As I said, we interviewed Tamaz, the CEO. We asked him why he joined the company, what he liked about it, what's the best thing about working there, and what he thinks makes them stand out within their industry. We also have news coverage on there, so if you're interested in the general goings on within Pepperstone, if they got any product updates, if anybody's saying any nice things or nasty things about them in the press, we cover those too. And we have facts and fees in there as well, so you can have a look at, how many markets Pepperstone offers. We break that down via asset class, and then we also look at what accounts they offer compared to other brokers. So if you are interested in how Pepperstone compares to other brokers, you can, for example, see Pepperstone against CMC markets and how they compare in terms of what sort of accounts they offer and how many markets they provide access to. So even though Pepperstone was founded back in 2010, which makes them relatively new to the world of online brokerage, they have grown quite quickly. They have offices around the world, including here in the UK, which means they're FCA regulated. So if you are a UK customer, you should only ever be trading with an FCA regulated broker. I know there's a temptation to go offshore for better margin rates, but your money's not protected by the FSCS up to a certain point. And generally, if a company isn't regulated by the FCA, it means they are probably not behaving in the way that if you are a UK trader, you would like them to behave in terms of customer service and treating your clients fairly. Now, what do Pepperstone offer? Well, primarily they're a forex broker, but they are branching out. They offer around about 1,200 tradable instruments, and that's a range of indices, forex, commodities, ETFs, and stocks. The stocks they cover are across the UK, US, Europe, and some Australian stocks. It is growing. It's by no means the most broad range of tradable assets, but it is the most liquid. It's generally what people like to trade. If you are tinkering about in the more exotic pairs and you need to trade stocks with slightly smaller market caps, there are better options elsewhere. But Pepperstone does cover the majority of the markets that most traders want. And they do that through CFDs and spread betting. Spread betting, of course, unique to the UK, where you can gamble on the financial markets. Your trades are structured as bets, and as such, you don't have to pay capital gains tax on your profits. If there are any, if you're one of those small percentage of traders that make money whilst trading the markets, I'm sure you've seen the risk warnings everywhere. They also offer contracts for difference, and that is another form of leverage trading. I'm not going to go into the specifics of what spread betting and contracts for difference are, because if you don't know, you probably shouldn't be trading with Pepperstone. I would say go away, educate yourself, and then come back and watch the rest of the review. But how can you trade these products? Well, Pepperstone offer MT4, MT5, and cTrader, two platforms that I will demo the functionality of in a bit, with some of the features that we particularly like that Pepperstone offers. MT4 and MT5 obviously run by the MetaQuotes company. They have been providing trading services for decades too. millions of traders, thousands of brokers. You know, if you can trade with MT4 with one broker, you can easily trade it with another. It's the same platform. The only difference is the underlying broker. And in fact, that, you know, MetaQuotes are generally pushing people slightly more towards MT5 because it's slightly faster, slightly crisper. But there's a bit of a resistance from traders because a lot of the old EAs were written for MT4 and would have to be rewritten for MT5. And in fact, this is one of the unique features of MT4 and MT5 is the EAs, which are the expert advisors. If you're not familiar with EAs or expert advisors, they're essentially trading robots that trade the market on your behalf. They look for price patterns and then execute trades based on whether or not a signal's been hit or not. You can either create them yourselves or buy them off the rack from the MetaQuotes store. They range in price. Whether or not you can make money from an off-the-rack trading robot is up to you. I make no comment on that. But there are plenty to choose from, and if you are that way inclined, you can create your own. It's one of the sort of unique features of MetaQuotes, and there's a huge community of people developing these expert advisors out there. You know, caveat emptor, I think, is probably the best thing to say with that. The other thing about trading with these robots, of course, is you need a VPS. Otherwise, when you turn your platform off, they'll stop trading. So if you are an active trader, Pepperstone do say they will sort one of those out for you, but you have to be obviously putting the volume through. Let's take a quick look at MT5. I'll put some trades on. I'll show you some of the features that Pepperstone offers their customers, and then we'll look at how that compares to their other trading platform, cTrader. So that's just it. It's a fairly robust platform. It's provided by thousands of brokers to millions of customers used worldwide, and for the very reason that it's actually quite simple to use. I mean, it does have that sort of Windows 95 feel about it, but actually even with professional and institutional trading platforms, they all look as though they were created about 20 years ago, because they're not actually there to look good, they're there for functionality, and I think that probably is where MT5 does a good job. It's got a lot of functionality, far too much for me to go into in a 10-minute review, but I'll just take you through some of the things that Pepperstone that are unique to Pepperstone. One of the things I particularly like in the Smart Trader Tool package that you can download is the mini terminal, and that basically enables you to set your parameters for each market. So for example, if you're trading in the FTSE and you like to trade in 5 lots and you like a stop 20 points away and you like to take profit 40 points away, every time you trade, that will be there. Is it, I don't know, is it looking a bit toppy? But I mean, we'll set it anyway. So we put, you know, we sold 5 FTSEs, and it's automatically put your take profit in there and your stop loss. These are actually, you can move them on the chart. So if you want a bit more leeway, you can move those. And what's particularly cool as well is if you want to change asset, but for example, let's bring cable up. Here we've got it set so that we've got a 10-point stop and a 20-point let's just go back to the FTSE for a minute, and I will show you the web version of the platform as well. Obviously, the one we're looking at the moment is the desktop version, where you run all your EAs, your expert advisors. It's got much more functionality, much more charting tools, and so on. For example, we've got Bollinger Bands up here. For one reason or another, I've always liked Bollinger Bands. I'm not quite sure why, but if you just want to tap away, there is the web-based version here, and of course, this is replicated on the mobile app. One of the things that actually frustrates me about MT4 and MT5 is it doesn't show your margin for each individual trade. So for example, here I'm long the FTSE and I'm long cable, but it only shows me my overall margin usage. It doesn't show me it broken down by product. And obviously if you're trading them a lot, you know your margin rates, but if you want to dip about in something else, then it's quite hard to calculate. Which brings me quite nicely onto the other platform, which I actually prefer, is called cTrader. Let's just close out these positions and then we'll transfer our funds across. So this is cTrader, which I actually prefer. That doesn't mean to say that MT4 and MT5 aren't any good. It's a very good platform. It's got huge functionality. I just happen to prefer the nuances and look of this. And in fact, when it comes to Pepperstone and MT4, we did give them best MT4 broker in 2020 and 2021, mainly due to their customer support where they're domiciled, and their range of markets that they offer. But anyway, let's move on to cTrader. So looking at cable here, for example, if you want to put a trade on, as soon as you put your volume in, it tells you the pip values. So, you know, if you're trading one lot, that's $10 per pip. It tells you that that's basically a £100,000 trade, and it tells you that your margin is 3,333.33 pence. So it gives you sort of all that information you need so that you don't overload your account, because you shouldn't really be using all of your buying power on one trade. You've got to, you know, diversify it a little bit. Otherwise, you're just going to get blown out. It'll show you your positions if you're working an order below or above, for example. As with MT4, you can move your stops and limits on the chart. One of the cool things it does is it actually tells you how much money you're going to make there, or lose rather, if your stop is hit. The other cool thing it has is auto charts, but it's sort of slightly more user friendly in that it sort of comes up with the most recently generated signal. I mean, this signal was generated at 9 o'clock in the morning, which was 4 hours ago now, so it isn't sort of overly helpful. But, you know, if you wanted to trade it, bang, you just push the button, you trade, and then your order's in. A few of the other interesting things they offer on cTrader are they have the economic calendar, which basically just means you don't get any nasty surprises. So if you are tapping away on the market, it just keeps you aware of when all the economic indicators are coming out, so that, you know, the market doesn't suddenly gap one way or another. You maybe reduce your exposure, or maybe even take a bigger bet around those times. Auto chartists we've covered. There's news, which is a sort of fairly generic feed of what's going on in the markets. And also, what's also quite interesting is they have a sort of analyze section, and a lot of brokers are trying to encourage their customers to use this, because as we've covered already, all the risks warnings show that people generally lose money when they're trading. So there's a big sort of fight among brokers to maintain a relationship with their customers by trying to help them improve their trading. And cTrader has this nice sort of analytics section where you can see how you've traded in the past, where you've made money, where you've lost money. For example, you can see I'm not doing particularly well. I've had 9 losing trades, 6 winning trades. It doesn't factor in the trades that you've had on MT4. It's only if you're using cTrader. And brokers trying to stop their customers losing money is quite a big thing at the moment. You know, brokers should want to form long-term relationships with their customers. That's what, you know, trading is. It's not like buying car insurance or something like that, or investing. It's, you know, you're constantly tapping away on the platform. You're constantly engaged with the brokerage. Sometimes it's the first thing in the morning you look at, the last thing at night. So you really want the broker to be continuing to try and add value and to try and help you. Which actually brings me quite nicely onto the educational section of Pepperstone. Many brokers have webinars and trading tools and all that sort of thing, but Pepperstone has actually partnered with the Carillion Trading Academy, and they have some really good webinars and trading strategy sessions and so on. It's usually a paid for service. You have to pay Carillion direct. There's a lot of sophisticated people on there. Richard Adcock's one of the mentors. For example, he's been on the Society of Technical Analysis board for 20, 30 years, I think. But, you know, it won't tell you what to buy and sell, but it will tell you how to implement strategy and manage risk and diversification. As I said, usually you have to pay for it, but if you're doing a few trades with Pepperstone, they'll get you signed up for free. So if you have used Pepperstone, if you are a customer, come onto the Good Money Guide website and leave us some feedback. Tell us what you think of Pepperstone as a trading platform and as a company. We've got a survey that we run every year. Generally, there's about 6,000 or 7,000 people that fill it in. And we ask people to rank their provider based on customer service, pricing, added value, and their technology. And we also ask what you like about them and what you dislike about them. And this gives us a really good way to compare brokers so that we can provide all the information that people need to make the right decision about who to trade with. Thank you for watching.